Most men think they will feel it the moment something changes. They think they will know immediately. They think it will be obvious. It is not. Because when a woman begins reacting to a new man in her life, she does not announce it. She does not sit across from you and explain what is shifting. The changes arrive quietly, in small moments, in little pauses, in things that almost look normal, but feel completely different. And by the time most men finally understand what those reactions meant, they are already standing in the ruins of something that could have been handled much earlier. Today, I am going to show you exactly how women react when there is a new man entering their emotional world, and what each reaction is actually telling you beneath the surface. This is not about blame. This is not about anger. This is about clarity. Because the men who get hurt the most in these situations are not always the ones who cared the least. They are the ones who saw the signs but did not know what they were looking at. So by the end of this video, you will understand the specific behavioral shifts that appear, why they appear, and what a man with real self-awareness should actually do when he notices them. Let's get into it. You may not even have a word for it at first. You just notice that she seems more alive in certain moments, and more drained in others. She comes home from certain places with a kind of brightness you did not put there. She laughs a little easier after certain phone calls. She seems lighter in moods that have nothing to do with you. And then around you, not cold exactly, but not fully present either. This is one of the earliest reactions and one of the most misread. Most men assume she is just going through something personal. They give her space. They try to be supportive. What they do not realize is that her energy is not depleted. It is being redirected. When a woman is emotionally absorbing someone new, her emotional reserves start flowing in a new direction, and the relationship she is already in often feels the shortage first. That quiet energy shift is rarely random. And it does not stay quiet for long. Suddenly things that were never a problem before become a problem. Your communication style that worked just fine last month is now not enough. Your plans that she used to appreciate now get a lukewarm response. Your presence that once felt comfortable to her now seems to disappoint her in ways she cannot fully explain. And here is the painful part. She may not even realize she is doing it. When a woman is emotionally stimulated by someone new, her internal measuring stick shifts. New emotional experiences create new expectations. And those new expectations quietly get applied to her existing relationship, a relationship that was built on a completely different foundation. So the man is suddenly failing a test he did not know existed. And the more he tries to figure out what changed, the more confused and inadequate he starts to feel. That quiet raising of the bar is not always conscious. But its effect on a man's confidence is very real. And once that starts, the next reaction becomes almost inevitable. There was a time when she would tell you things. Funny moments from her day. Frustrations at work. Random thoughts that crossed her mind. That openness was not small. That was trust showing up in real time. But now you notice the stories getting shorter. The details becoming thinner. The conversations starting to feel like summaries instead of real moments. She is still talking, but she is no longer sharing. And the thing that makes this particular reaction so damaging is that most men do not catch it right away. Because she has not gone silent. She has just gone selective. What she used to offer freely, she now filters carefully. Because the emotional intimacy that used to live in those conversations, the real unguarded version of her, has started to move somewhere else. And when a woman stops bringing you the real version of her thoughts, it means something real has already changed about where she feels safe to open up. You say something. She nods. You suggest something. She considers it briefly and moves on. You share your perspective, and you can feel it landing somewhere that does not quite register anymore. This is different from a simple disagreement. This is a quiet loss of influence. In a healthy relationship, a man's perspective naturally matters to the woman he is with. Not because she agrees with everything, but because she values where his mind goes. She weighs what he thinks. She lets his view actually factor into her decisions. When another man begins to take emotional space in her mind, his opinions often start filling the role yours used to play. She may not quote him. She may not even mention him. but you can feel that your input is no longer landing with the same gravity. And for a man who genuinely cares about the relationship, that loss of influence is one of the most quietly devastating changes of all. Most men do not lose women because they were not good enough. They lose women because they never understood what actually keeps a woman emotionally anchored to a relationship long term. Attraction and retention are two completely different skills. And most men were never taught either one. That is exactly why I want you to check out the resource linked in the description below. It breaks down the psychology behind what makes a man irreplaceable in a woman's mind, not just wanted, but genuinely difficult to emotionally walk away from. If you are serious about building the kind of presence that commands real respect and real loyalty, that link is worth your time. Now let's continue. Couples who are solid talk about the future naturally. Weekend plans, trips, goals, even small things like where to grab dinner next week. The future is casually shared because there is a shared sense of direction. But when something shifts internally for her, the future starts getting quietly taken off the table. She becomes vague about upcoming weeks. Plans that would normally include you now get answered with "I am not sure yet" or "let me see how things go." She stops building forward with you, not dramatically, not in one obvious conversation, just gradually, plan by plan. And the man often does not register it as a serious sign. He just thinks she is being flexible, keeping options open. What he is actually watching is her slowly removing him from the mental image of her own future. That withdrawal from shared planning is not casual. It is one of the clearest signals that her emotional investment is quietly being reconsidered. Before the big changes arrive, the small ones go first. The quick text that says she is thinking about you. The little moment where she grabs your arm in public. The look across the room that used to say everything without words. These small gestures are easy to miss individually, but they are the real pulse of a relationship. They are the daily proof that someone is choosing you in the small moments, not just the big ones. When a woman's emotional attention moves towards someone new, these little affections are often the first casualties. Not because she hates you, not because she is being deliberately cruel, but because genuine small affection requires genuine present feeling. And if that feeling is becoming divided, the small things fade first. A man who is paying attention will feel this long before anything dramatic happens. And a man who understands what it means will not waste that early warning. One evening, she seems close, warm, almost like before. You think, okay, maybe things are fine. Maybe I was overthinking it. Then the next day, she is somewhere else entirely. Distant, distracted, a little impatient with things that never bothered her before. And this inconsistency, this back and forth, is what traps so many men in a cycle of false hope. Because those good moments feel like proof that the relationship is still intact. And in a way, they are not entirely fake. Part of her still genuinely has feeling for what was built. But another part of her is emotionally pulled somewhere new. And when a woman is split between two emotional realities, her behavior reflects that split. Some days the old reality wins. Some days the new one pulls harder. And the man stuck in the middle of those two versions of her is the one who suffers the most confusion, because he is trying to hold steady with someone who is no longer fully in one place. Healthy relationships have a natural maintenance built into them. Two people who are genuinely invested will defend the relationship. They will bring up issues because they want resolution. They will fight for understanding because they actually want to stay. But when a woman's emotional loyalty starts shifting, she often stops fighting for the relationship in that quiet, consistent way. She stops bringing up the hard conversations. Not because everything is fine, but because she no longer feels the urgency to fix what she is already beginning to emotionally leave. You may even mistake this for peace. We have not argued in a while. Maybe things are getting better. But silence is not always resolution. Sometimes silence is someone who has already started the process of letting go, and no longer sees the point in working through what they are privately moving away from. This one is subtle, but it is real. She starts putting more care into how she shows up, her appearance, her social presence, her confidence in certain spaces. And at first, you might even feel good about it. She seems happier, more alive, more engaged with life. But you slowly realize that energy is not coming home to you. That new confidence, that extra effort, that brightness, it is not flowering in the direction of your relationship. It is performing somewhere else. For someone else's attention. A woman who is genuinely growing within a relationship brings that growth back to the partnership. A woman whose growth is being fueled by an outside connection takes that energy in a very different direction. And when a man finally sees that clearly, really sees it, it is one of the most sobering realizations he can face. So what do you do with all of this? First, do not spiral. Recognizing a pattern is not the same as losing. It is actually the beginning of reclaiming your clarity. Second, do not chase. A man who chases withdrawal rarely recovers his position. He usually only confirms the doubts that were already forming. Third, look honestly at the full picture. One sign is not a verdict, but a pattern of signs, stacked consistently over time, that deserves to be taken seriously. Not ignored. Not explained away. Seen. And finally, know your own worth clearly enough that you never spend years defending your presence to someone who has already emotionally started walking in another direction. The men who navigate these situations with the most dignity are not the ones who fought the hardest to hold on. They are the ones who saw clearly, responded with self-respect, and never allowed someone else's divided loyalty to become the foundation they tried to build on. That is the standard. Hold it. If this video gave you real clarity, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this content reach the men who need it most. Subscribe if you are new. We go deep on male psychology, relationships, and building the kind of mindset that actually changes outcomes in your life. And if you want to go even further, the next video is already waiting for you. You will want to watch it.